are listening to the Krooked Hearts Podcast.
All right, well, let's get started here. We have Mr. Zamora here.
Where do I look? Am I supposed to look at one of these?
Anywhere you want.
Cool.
There's one pointed at you, and then there's one for the whole room. So
there's one pointing at me? Thanks for the heads up, guys. Appreciate that.
All right, so this is Krooked Hearts Podcast. We got Zamora here. We're going to kind of start off with some old school.
Let's do it.
Take it back to Corona High.
Corona High.
Yeah, so I was class of 97. I know you were a year
95.
Two. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we both come from Crown Town area.
Yeah.
And
were you born in Crown? Or?
My mom still lives in the same house.
So do my parents.
Yeah, right off of Outpost Drive.
That's rad.
Yeah, Avenida Del Vista in Ontario.
I was right behind Stater Brothers.
Okay. Yeah.
Off a border.
Yeah, right down the street.
Yep.
Nice.
They're still there. I was there today.
What's that?
I was there today.
Down in Corona?
Yeah, at my parents' house.
Okay. So they still live down there?
I was conceived. Yeah, they still live there.
Yeah. I think my parents moved in 2 years before I was born, so 77.
Yeah.
Yeah. All orange groves past above Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cool little city back then.
It was. It was fun even when we were in high school, they still had orange groves and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of our hiding spots.
Yeah.
To do various things.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
But that city has grown quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Playing baseball? Did you play baseball?
I didn't play. I played like Little League and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you play it? You obviously Butterfield, right?
Yep. Butterfield
Dude,
Park.
what a memory.
Corona Rams and was there. Corona Rams and then baseball. And then basketball was at the Civic Center at the police station.
Yeah.
In that little white building.
I did T-ball there.
Okay. Yeah.
T-ball at the whatever.
Yeah.
Civic Center.
Yeah, sports was big for us back then when we were little.
Yeah, especially baseball. I mean, to be able to play a sport that is cheap for starters, because football is so expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, basketball is cheap too, but it was so cheap. Everyone wore like the same shirt.
Yeah.
Like that Circle City shirt, whatever, with just different colors.
Right. Yeah.
But baseball is so cheap, and you could practically play it year round. So
the baseball jerseys were like the cutoff with like Outpost pizza, Outpost pizza with like the stenciled letters on or whatever.
I was the Lamppost pizza, and it was just a baseball tee. Yeah, baseball tee with like a sewn on vinyls. Yeah.
Like the little vinyl stickers or whatever.
You always have the sponsor. It wasn't until like our generation started having kids did they get cool uniforms. Right.
Yeah. Like professional looking ones, dude.
Yeah, we had like a trucker hat that just had like an A on it. Just like I was on the Pirates one year. We were yellow and purple.
Right.
Like
those aren't the right colors.
Yeah, those don't have the right colors. And it's just a big yellow P on like a maroon, I think it was. Maroon and yellow. Man, it was cool being poor, though.
Well, I want to ask you about Mr. Boffman, because I seem to remember when I would go into class, I could have sworn I saw like a Bootsy Collins or something
still
of
have
yours.
it.
Okay.
Still have it.
Because in between classes, they would put the other classes' stuff up on to dry or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember always eyeing that one up there going, that's
I had him for 2 periods.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. There was, I think they started it when I was a senior.
Okay.
And I had late arrival, 2nd period, 3rd period art, 4th period madrigals, which is choir singing.
Yep.
And then it was the 2 ones you had to take.
Right.
Like, what was it?
Language arts and
language arts.
Right.
It's either government or econ, depending on what semester you're in, and then language arts,
So, but that's senior year, right?
Senior year, yeah.
So I had the same thing.
But I'm saying they didn't start you can take 2 art classes until I think my senior year.
Okay.
So I think it was like my first, I'm pretty sure it might have been before that, but I thought it was like my first semester they didn't do it, and then the 2nd semester they offered it. So I was like, oh my God, my life just got easier.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For sure. I could just paint musicians. Yeah. He hated me for that. Like, we got along great. He put my stuff in at the, because they used to throw the art shows at Riverside Plaza before it became whatever it is. And but if I did an album cover or anything like that, man, it would make him so mad. And I never knew why.
I got away with it because I did a portrait of Jimi Hendrix, but with me.
Yeah.
I replaced my face. So it was kind of like I was pushing the line where I was still doing something that wasn't. And I would change the background with mushrooms and psychedelic stuff in the background. So I
did a Jimi Hendrix painting one time, and he put that in the show. I think it's in the yearbook.
Okay, cool.
It's in one of the yearbooks or whatever. But
nice.
But yeah, I did like Pork Soda, and it was one at that time. It was probably my best painting. Like I was starting to actually get my own style,
right? And
like going, okay, if I was to be an artist and if I was to go to art school, I would keep some element of what I'm doing in this painting to carry on.
Right.
I'd just get better at this.
Sure.
You know, so it was one of those like defining moment artwork things. And he gave me a C on it. And it was so good.
Yeah, he was tough.
It was just because of that. Just because he's like, another album cover. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know? I should give you a bad grade for this. I'm like, come on, dude.
Well, he was the one and only teacher that I was the teacher's pet. I wasn't the only teacher's pet in my class.
Yeah.
Because me and Daniel Waits were in the same class together. And we had 4th period and 5th period, and then no 6th period class.
Yeah.
So the end of the day was our coasting, where we would start on something, and then you know how we had the cabinets with the little desks in the corner, like up top in the back.
Yeah.
So we would just go sit back there while he started the next class.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have to listen to the lecture. We just got to go up and just start. You know.
That's cool.
And that was really cool because it was like.
Did you have any like artists in your class that you knew they were going to be an artist?
There was one guy, I can't remember his name, but I bet you he for sure went somewhere because he just had the skills, dude.
Was it Brian Child?
No.
Because we had a kid, he might have graduated with me, but he was like the artist of the school. Like he was so badass.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was like actually practicing art. And I heard, I mean, I can be completely wrong, but I heard that he ended up like being a car designer or something like that. And I was like, well, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, right.
The guy was just so good.
Yeah, he was good.
But we had a couple, but he was definitely the one that stood out.
Yeah.
Then there was one kid from Centennial. I think he was a Hispanic kid. I used to know his name. But when we go to the shows, man, he was another level.
Yeah.
Like he should have been. You think the guy was like McFarlane or something, you know? He was doing stuff like that.
Right.
You know, like however he does his toys and stuff like that. It's like that kind of art.
So do you still paint or draw or do art? Or?
Not really. I did when I was going to Berkeley. I started kind of getting back into it. My kid's mom was an art major in college, and so we bought a lot of canvases and a bunch of paints and try to raise our kids to do it. My oldest son is a good artist.
Okay.
But he recently quit art to be in the orchestra for 2 periods. So he's not doing art in school. Yeah. Which I'm totally okay with.
Right.
You know, he's got to learn how to read. He wants to be a professional musician. So
that's cool.
So this gives him like...
He can always come back to it.
It's true. Yeah. And I'm sure he'll doodle somewhere or something like that. Right. He always, he likes to do same things I do. I did like album covers and logos and stuff like that. Yeah. He's doing all that stuff.
Nice.
So he's just like me. It's crazy.
He's got a little bit of you in there, huh?
He's got a
lot. So real quick, the Kiss costume, got to bring it up from, I sent you that photo and I was like, dude, this is so classic Ty right here.
I did it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And the first one, a friend of mine, Ada Romero, his mom, she was like a seamstress. She was the one that my mom would take all her pants to get hemmed, or my pants, whatever. And we didn't know this. It was just one of those things where it was like, oh, I'm hanging out with Ada Romero. And my mom's all, oh, I know a lady by that name. She does all my stuff. And I'm like, oh, what's her name? And then, we found out that she was the same lady.
And that costume was legit.
She made it.
Yeah, dude.
She made it. I showed her a picture of it. She's like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So she made it. Adam and I actually won first and second place for the costume contest that year.
And a mini.
And a Snickers. A little tiny fun size Snickers. That's what I got for it.
Right.
But yeah, she made, he did like a pimp costume and I did that and we won.
That's killer, dude.
Yeah, so she did that one and it was so weird because, I didn't really get much slack for that. Like I'm wearing tights.
Yeah, right.
I'm wearing boots. And
dude,
all
you
this
look cool,
stuff.
bro. I mean,
got paint all over my face. And no one really kind of bothered me. So I was like, let's do it next year.
Yeah.
So next year I did Ace Frehley again. And I made the original costume with cardboard and tape. And it still looked pretty good though.
Yeah, it did.
Looked legit. But the second year I brought a guitar to school.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember that.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
I had this black Les Paul, and I was like, oh, dude, it's going to give me an excuse to just walk around the school jamming some Kiss songs or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. That was fun.
So I want to ask you about, carpet?
Yeah. Carpet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serge and Antone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was fun.
That's taking it back to the old school
what
right
we
there.
did. Yeah. So, that was like my primary high school band.
Right.
And basically we did Rage, 311, and Primus covers.
Yeah, that's what I remember the most.
Only thing we did. I mean, we might have jammed with a Alice in Chains or a Soundgarden song or Nirvana. I'm sure we played a bunch of Nirvana, but it was like pretty much dominating those three. And so I had Late Arrival. And then I'd have to go to sixth period at the end. We would always take off. We'd like go to lunch or whatever, or just take off when the kids had, early dismissal. Yeah. And we go to Serge's house, which was right by Rainey, and we would just jam.
Nice.
We just sit there and jam all kinds of, whatever. But we got in a lot of trouble. We won 2 talent shows.
Yeah, that I remember.
Yeah, we won 2 talent shows our junior year and our senior year. We won the talent shows, made a couple bucks, got busted. We went and bought a bunch of beer and stuff. And right after we won the talent show, and the cops came up and busted us at what's that called? Maybe Canyon?
Maybe Canyon. Oh, yeah.
Is that the
where
one
the cars are? Yeah.
Maybe Canyon. Yeah. So we got busted at Maybe Canyon.
Did you guys ever do White Sands? You remember that?
No.
That was more on the El Cerrito side of the area.
Well, we did because Steve Hall, which was one of my really good friends, he was the last house, I think, where Maybe Canyon was.
Yeah.
Maybe Canyon was the one that was like all the way up Border, right?
Yeah, all the way up Border, and then you made a right.
Yeah.
And there was those cars that were on their sides that were like...
So his house was like the last one.
Okay.
And then so you'd pass his house, you'd kind of go up.
Yeah.
And there was that long stretch, and that's where everyone hung out.
Right.
So we would go there most of the time because if we got in trouble or whatever, we would just
go down to his
house. Or, we could always see if the coast is clear, go back or whatever. So we didn't have to travel far. Yeah. And his mom was like never home. It was most of the time it was just him in that house.
Perfect scenario.
Yeah. To get in a lot of trouble.
Right.
A lot of firsts there.
Yeah.
A lot of those high school firsts.
Yeah.
Being at that house.
Yeah, I was racking my brain thinking back to like high school stuff, and I was like, wait, Carpet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in Carpet.
Carpet.
And the talent shows is what popped out of my head for that.
Yeah, the 2 talent shows. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, we just jammed all the time. I think we tried to play a backyard party. I think, we always like get back together and jam at my house, and all of our friends will come out and we'll just play a bunch of Rage songs or whatever. It's not nothing big, but.
Well, Claypool was big for like people that knew about him. Yeah. But when we were in high school, 311, Rage, that was like peak, dude. Like, everybody.
That was huge. Well, 311, it took them a second to catch on. I remember a drummer that I was jamming with, I think I was in a sophomore.
Okay.
And that music, I had to order the music cassette because he said, oh, you got to check out this band that he saw in 120 minutes.
Okay.
And he showed me like the hydroponic and whatever the songs before that. Anyways, I can't remember it right now. But he showed me those two songs, and I immediately went to Music Plus, I think it was at the time, and ordered it. And like it took like a week to get there, and I got it on cassette. Yeah. And I was trying to show everybody. Sure. And we even played, like when I was in the Color Red with my brothers. That was another thing, because I was in the Color Red.
Yeah, that was my next thing I was about to ask you about. Yeah. I
was in with them, like doing serious stuff, like playing real gigs.
That was with your brother?
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them.
Both of my brothers, yeah. And that was like a serious band, but at home or at school, whatever.
So you were doing Carpet and Color Red at the same time?
Yeah.
That was like your senior year?
No, junior? I did. Well, Carpet played junior year, senior year talent shows. And I mean, we jammed like every single day. Right. But Color Red, I think I got into Color Red as a sophomore. Yeah. Okay. That's when I first started playing with them, because I was in another band with Jim Barlow and like Matt Ranney and Joe Reeder. We were in a punk band together. Okay. And then Jim and I ended up going to start another band. And I had to leave that band to go play with my brothers because their guitar player just quit. Yeah. I think I was still 15 years old, maybe 16. And I had to go start playing with them. So I played with them until basically formed Ant Farm. Right. And so I was always doing that, like, I wouldn't say professionally, but it was more
Color
of a
Red was getting big,
band.
Riverside area and stuff. Like
we had a CD. Sure, and it was all original music. And, you know, so that was happening at the same time. Carpet was just...
It was just a fun thing.
Yeah, and I get to play bass, because everywhere else I was playing guitar. Okay. So I got to, like, play bass, and, you know, once I, like, started learning all that Primus stuff, it was like, I want to be a bass player, right. You know.
Because, like, the barn and stuff was the major place to play out back then. Spanky's.
Barn, yeah.
And then, like, the Menage, I remember, like, out there, people would go to Lake Alice or whatever to get drinks or play, and then they'd go get drinks at the Menage after or whatever.
Oh, you mean the Menage?
Yeah,
the Menagerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gay bar.
Yeah, the gay bar.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And that was the place to go get drinks late night style cheap.
Yeah, you know what? I preferred Menagerie. Like, we went there a lot. Yeah. And because, I mean, I know it's like, you know, sometimes guys will hit on you and stuff like that, but you don't have to worry about fights or anything. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about, like, guys being macho. Right. And, you know, it's kind of a community there, so you start, you know, meeting some of the people. But the crazy thing was, like, I remember Joe was telling me this story that Joe from Spiderworks was telling me we were there partying one night, and he went in, because the only thing I ever had happen cool to me is someone bought me a drink. That was cool. So I was like, hey, that never happens unless it's like some business thing or whatever. But Joe went into the bathroom, and he said there was a guy that went in there with him that was trying to see what he was working with. You know, and Joe's like, come on, man. He's all, man, I'm drunk as a skunk. And we said that for quite so many years. But I've learned a lot of language and terms due to that place. And, but they always play good music too. You know, it was a cool spot. I liked it was old school. I liked it a lot.
And then, you know, Spiderworks was big. And you're mentioning Joe, dude. Like, I remember in high school going to Mad Platter, and we went and got Shiver. Yeah. And that song, Two People, everybody was about that. Yeah, that was like their hit, you know?
Yeah, I remember even in our Corona High magazine, they were even like writing about it. Yeah. You know, so that was a trip for us, because these guys, you know, they went to Corona High School. Yeah. And they were a couple years older than us, and they were like my brother's age. So I got to, like, you know, hang out with them and stuff because of my brothers, because they all went to school together and they were good friends and stuff. That's cool. So I've known those guys, like the whole Spiderworks band, and know them real early on. I wasn't into their metal stuff, which all my friends were. Right. And they pushed it, you know, They were listening to it all the time, that little Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
They were listening to that constantly, everybody in the area. And it wasn't until they did a show at the Mad Platter in Riverside that they started like kind of going more psychedelic and whatever. I don't know what you'd call that, but more.
Well, Two People's a good example of how psychedelic it kind of got.
More the drug influence.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't. Yeah, they were just dealing with hallucinogenics and stuff. So, and it sounded like it, and that's when I caught my attention.
Yeah,
because I mean, anything that's hallucinogenic, psychedelic, anything like that that's done well, especially in an alternative sense, I'm all about it.
Yeah,
Pink Floyd's like one of my favorites. So anything that's influenced by Pink Floyd on that side of things, as opposed to just their like pop.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the spot too out there. Mad Platter, the Denim Bank. What was the other one in the middle?
A lot of cool spots there. Like A Primary was another one that was right across. See, a lot of those places shut down because of what is that called? The Mission Inn.
Yeah.
They just got rid of all that like cool little music scene that was in downtown Riverside with Spanky's, and there was that A Primary. There was another. God, I wish I could remember a name, but there was like 2 venues right there.
Yeah.
And obviously Spanky's was the bigger one, and the other one was just there for a minute. But that downtown scene was cool, right off of Tyler, and there was that. There's just, we had a lot of the Plaza had Carlos O'Brien's, which was like the first place I played with Korn.
Okay.
And then ended up playing with Korn and Deftones at the bar.
Right.
So I mean, there was quite a scene. There could be one now. I just don't know about it.
Yeah. Well, back then Riverside had a scene.
Yeah. We had a scene. We had a lot of bands. Everybody that ended up getting big in the 90s or the 2000s came through Riverside.
Right.
Everybody.
Yeah.
No Doubt used to play down out here all the time.
And then you talk about that. You talk about Showcase, like right there in Corona.
Yeah.
How many? I mean, I'm sure you saw all kinds of bands there.
Yeah. I saw a lot of bands there. It was mostly at Spanky's because I got into the scene when I was really young.
Okay.
My brothers are 6 and 7 years older than me. So before I was in the Color Red with them, they were in another band, a serious band before that as well. And I was a really young guy. And so there was a lot of 21 and over places in Orange County and some in Riverside, San Bernardino, that my parents would take me and I would get to go.
Okay.
Even though they were 21 and over, whatever, they would just,
you're with your parents.
Put an X with me and make me sit in the booth, and that's all I had to do.
That's cool.
Which was super cool because I mean, all the guys that I was into, I learned a ton of people from the scene. Yeah. When I was a little kid, but the thing is that they knew me since I was a little kid. Right. And once I started coming up, they were like, "Oh, let's go play with this guy, or let's go see this kid play, or this kid can play Primus, or and they would trip out because they seemed so much older in the time. Really, they were only in like their mid-20s. Yeah. But I was like early mid-teens. Yeah. And they would just trip out and always like the Brother Vibe guys. Yeah. I got to meet them really young, and they were one of my favorite bands at the time. So I would go over to their little rehearsal place, and Brian, the bass player, would give me the bass. Oh, dude, play that Primus stuff, man! Like, go play that. So I'd start sitting there and play, and they would just like trip. Yeah. So everyone, it was cool because it was like I was friends and being like groomed, I guess, to be one of the people in the scene by everybody that was in the scene. I was very fortunate. Yeah. I mean, I have to give it up to my parents, especially my dad, that exposed me to all that stuff. And encouraged it. Yeah, because he wouldn't miss a show that my brothers or I played. That's cool. He went to every single one. And if he could, he'd videotape every single one. Nice. Proud papa. Yeah, super proud. He really wanted us to be... He tried to discourage us from doing stuff that, like being in the military and stuff like that, because he was. Yeah. And he was always trying to push passion type stuff.
The arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the arts, but just something that took more passion,
Okay.
you know? It wouldn't matter what it is. He got into everything that we got into, but music ended up equally with me and my brothers, because there's only 3 of us. It seemed to be the path that we all wanted to take. So I mean, he went out and bought everything and really encouraged it.
That's pretty killer.
Yeah.
Well, so when you were in Color Red, and like we were talking about Spiderworks, that's where the Joe Hill connection kind of comes into play. So back then, when you were in the Color Red, did you guys? You said you knew the guys from Spiderworks from your brothers. Yeah,
I met them. I knew who they were. I met them. I didn't know them that well.
Okay.
The Hills brothers. I just knew of them. I'm sure they knew of me.
Yeah.
But we never had like that moment where we would hang out. It was, I would be backstage when they were hanging out backstage at a show. It's just I didn't hang out with them. It was like I would hang out with one of the other guitar players, because I was still kind of a kid and they were doing drugs in front of me.
Right.
And my parents were there too.
Yeah.
So, and my parents were just like the straightest laced people, like, very Christian, or at least, grew up that way.
Right.
And they don't do none of that stuff, They strongly discourage that stuff.
Okay.
And they ended up having 3 boys that were like really into partying and stuff. So that was, must have been a trip for them. But it is rock and roll, so it kind of comes with the territory.
Sure.
It's kind of hard to be a straight edge rock and roller.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I guess you can do that with the punk scene, or whatever scene that Fugazi was in. But so I never, there was only like one guy, and then Monty, anytime I go because those guys used to work at like Music Plus and then worked at like Mad Platter. So I would hang out or, talk to them. They knew who I was and stuff. They knew my brothers really well.
So let me ask you real quick. Is Joe Hill, from my memory, when you guys played Alien, when you guys played at the Fender Museum in Corona, was that Joe that was?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always knew just from hearing him play and whatever thing he was doing. Because like Anfar's first show was with Fried Wood, which was basically Spiderworks with a new singer.
Okay.
And I've always thought Joe Hill was just like the man at guitar.
Yeah.
So to play with him was always kind of a dream of mine. So when we had the ability, or when our guitar player left, we knew right away. It was like there was no question.
Yeah.
We had to get somebody else real quick.
Right.
To learn the songs. And I mean, I love Victor very much. He's a great friend, all that stuff, but he kind of blew it.
Yeah. Like
he was just out partying and having a good time, and I'm teaching him the songs. He's kind of like, yeah, whatever, So he could have, if he would have done a really good job, we probably would have been like, let's just keep Victor.
Yeah.
He was there, whatever, but he's, he was just out of control. We're wearing like security shirts with bunny flippers on, and right after we go out, and we're hearing all this walkie-talkie talk or whatever radios they're talking about him. Like, okay, he's out of control.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so there was Victor, but we always knew we were gonna get Joe, and that's when I started talking to him, and
that's kind of where your relationship started.
That's where our relationship started. Yeah.
Was that a cool gig for you? I mean, Corona boy playing at the Fender Museum, or was that?
Yeah, that was super awesome.
I don't think they did too much. I saw Dick Dale there and you guys. So
yeah, no, they didn't do too much there, and any kind of like Corona thing was always extra special.
Yeah,
but it just happened to be like when the Lakers were in the playoffs.
Okay,
so that was like a hard. It was like, I remember Daniel was sitting there sidelines, like giving me scores and stuff. I'm like, dude, come on. You got to watch this. We have to play, and I want to watch this Laker game. And I'm not Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg, if there's a Laker game on, he won't go on. So I can't do that.
Right.
But it was a good show. It was a good crowd. And, and it was a good time. It was cool being at Fender. I mean, I'm a Fender guy. I love playing Fenders. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't think that museum, it's not there anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
They they split up. It was weird. Like they wanted to keep the Fender Museum, and then I think they just turned it to basically what Fender Museum was, but just not Fender. They got bought out or something. Fender was super corporate because it was kind of like they were really supportive and gave musicians a lot of love and a lot of guitars, and then they came in and they were just like, no, we're just here to make money now. Yeah. And they got rid of all their artists. And
that museum was cool. Kids could come in and check out stuff.
But they got rid of a lot of artists. And they weren't doing deals for anybody anymore. Like when I first started going with Fender, they were just like, hey, put a wish list together of everything you want. Don't skip out on anything. Hold back. Yeah, just get everything that's in our catalogs or online or whatever and get it. Or just put it down. And they sent me every single thing I asked for.
That's so sick.
Every single thing. It was like 20-some guitars and basses and stuff. I'm like, what?
Dream come true.
Yeah, it was a total dream come true. But, especially being that, like, from Corona. Yeah. They're in Corona. Right. All, like, it's like, dude, Jimi Hendrix plays a guitar that's from Corona. Yeah. What? Yeah. So, and I still, to this day, it's like my number one and number two guitars is a Stratocaster and a Telecaster. Yeah. I don't really play their basses anymore, but I play basses that come from a guy that was a senior master builder there. So it's pretty much a Fender. Right. It's just fixing some things and, like having, more bolts in the plate or a bigger headstock or something like that, just so you get more resonation or more even sound. Yeah. Stuff like that.
I worked as a temp right out of high school, 97, for the Christmas season. Yeah. They put the Strat packs together. It was just like a line, assembly line. Yeah. And I befriended a guy that was like 20-year guy that worked there. And he said, hey, the New Year's coming up and we're allowed to buy one thing at 50% off. I'm not going to buy anything this year. And it doesn't roll over. So if you want something, let me know. Yeah. So I got the Voodoo Caster, this Hendrix signature model. Really? And I still have it. And it's like vintage now, you know, it's got the cracks in the, and I played the crap out of that thing, for so many years. And so now it's like old, like 97 making me feel old, but but it's a killer guitar. It's like my go-to Strat. I have a couple, but
that's crazy at 90s old. Like it's because for me, I'm like, dude, if it's like 80s is still like a new Strat for me. Right. Like 70s, 60s, 50s, that's old Strat. Oh, yeah. But I mean, I still feel that way when you just say it's 97, now it's old. Like, what? No. Yeah. That thing was just made like 10 years ago.
It's true. I know, but it's got the wear and tear on it where it like, Yeah. But it's hard to, it's funny
the 90s were a long time ago. It's crazy. Yeah. That's super crazy.
Well, taking it back into some alien stuff, I wanted to talk about, do you remember the show in Sacramento at the Boardwalk that you guys did?
Yeah, I played there a bunch of times. Okay. But which one are you referring to?
So I'm referring to one specific one. And you'll probably remember this, I'm hoping. Where, so I was living in Sacramento. My brother said, hey, your boy Daniel, the band he's with, they're playing at the Boardwalk. You should go over there. So we went and bought tickets, rolled in, and went and saw Daniel. And, hey, what's up? And so Jacoby comes out on stage and loses his wallet while he's stage diving. And gets back on stage and shuts the whole show down. And he's like, hey, my wallet got stolen out there while I was crowd surfing.
Were we both signed at the time? Well, it had to be because Daniel was there. Well, no, I think Daniel went out there when we were like in a van and stuff.
You guys were in a bus? Okay. It was parked back behind.
Because Daniel started with us before we got signed. Yeah. But
and so the funniest part about the story is he shuts the whole show down, makes a big stink about it. 10 minutes go by, whatever, you guys finally start playing it. After the show, we go back, and he's on the tour bus, and he finds his wallet on the tour bus, and he's like, everyone's laughing about it, I mean, he
sounds
made like...
about right. I think he was still drinking at that time. He was still drinking very heavily at that time.
I'll never forget that.
See, that's a mild moment, though, with,
I'm sure.
with Jacoby. That's a mild moment. Like, he's a wild dude. Yeah. He used to be a really wild dude before he, got Christian and or got saved or whatever and decided to live sober. But he's just, he's a hyper dude. Yeah. And and he likes to have fun.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
I don't, but I do remember playing the boardwalk, and I do remember Kobe coming out. But
so then we went back, like I said, to the tour bus and hung out with you guys, and then Daniel said, "Hey, having a barbecue over at Jacoby's house tomorrow. Okay, you want to come?"
Yeah.
So me and my buddy came, and I think Terry or somebody was looking for some green or something. So I brought some stuff, and you guys, we show up at Jacoby's house. Tour, which house is it? As we come around, it's the one with the tour bus right in front, parked in front.
I remember that.
And so it was just so interesting, like your band, their band, everyone cooking burgers and hot dogs in the backyard and just ripping on each other. Gummo playing on the TV.
Yeah.
I've never in my life.
That sounds about right, dude. Yeah.
The neighbors were all knocking on the door. Hey, we just wanted to introduce ourselves. We live 3 houses down, and we saw the bus, and it's like Kobe's in town, And so it was just so rad to like be a fly on the wall and kind of see you guys acting like just buddies and like you know.
We were. We started out in vans together, and they were Vacaville, whatever, and we were Corona, Moreno Valley, Riverside. And they would come down here and play a bunch of shows with us, and we would play shows with them, and it was small. Yeah. And we played, one of our, I don't know if it was the first show, but it might have been the Boardwalk. Yeah. We played with them when there was like nobody in that place, you know what I mean? And we spent a lot of time together, and, we were definitely friends. Friends enough to where once they got signed, they got us signed. They were like, "Oh, you got to get these guys." And, and if we could have done the same thing, we would have. Yeah. And so we were really, we were really buddies at that time. I was, I remember one time we went up there and played a show, and a friend of mine was like, "I've never been to San Francisco," and I was like, "Oh, let's go." So we ended up staying at Kobe's house or Jacoby's house. Yeah. Before the house that you went to. Yeah. This was like when he was like living in Vacaville. Okay. When it was just him and Kelly before kids and all that stuff. And just partying with him and him having to go to work the next day. I went to San Francisco with my friend, and he hits me up and he's like, "Dude," I'll go, "Dude, we didn't go to bed till like 5 a.m. and you had to get up at like 6. What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Dude, seriously?" Because he was a janitor at the time. Okay. He was like, "I went into my like maintenance closet where I keep all my stuff." And he goes, "And I was literally standing up against the wall holding my mop, and I fell asleep." I'm like, "Dude, that sounds about right for Jacoby." Yeah. But we were really, we were just such friends at that time. Sure. They were just, I don't know how far into it, but they had an experience probably fame for that long at that point, maybe a couple years at that point. Yeah. So I still think they were pretty well grounded at that time. Right. They still are. They're very grounded. Very grounded. Super cool guys. Yeah. Some of my favorites. Yeah. Yeah, that's always a highlight memory for me to just be hanging out with you. That's cool that you got to do that. Yeah, that freaking movie cool. Gummo, dude. Yeah, dude, Gummo's something else. We always quoting that stuff. I know. He touched her coochie. Yeah, that's good stuff, dude. That's a good one. So we'll take it back to, I want to ask, I know it's maybe whatever, but I also got to go hang out with you guys at the Vans Warped Tours 2001. Mm-hmm. Pier 30, I think, Vans Warped Tour. Mm-hmm. So San Francisco? San Francisco. Yeah. And I want to say, I could be wrong, that when we were there, it was one of the first times you guys met some of the dudes from 311. It's possible. I kind of remember Daniel saying, like, "Dude, Peanut's going to come over and hang out." And well, we might have just been starting to hang out with them. Okay. I don't know if it was meeting, because I met all the guys several times, but for the whole band, I remember like we were on the bus with you guys, mm-hmm. and I remember him saying like, "Dude, they're gonna come over here." And they hung out with us quite a bit, right? We hung out a lot, especially for that tour. Yeah. They didn't hang out with too many other people. Right.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Like, well, they did a compound. They had 3 buses, and everywhere they went, they did like a triangular compound. And we were always invited. So we just always went over there. And Peanut, him and I really hit it off. I feel like I hit it off with all of them, but I really hit it off with Peanut. And at the time, I don't know, he's always like the last couple times I've hung out with him, he's, to me, seems more social, you know, where he's really being the guy in the band that's out hanging out with people and stuff like that. But at Warped Tour, I felt like he was very secluded. Okay. Like he would come out and hang and kind of laugh at everything and kind of go back on the bus. Okay. And it was cool. I mean, I don't know if he was going through something at the time or if that's just the way he was and he kind of came out of his shell. I don't really know. Right. I don't really know because I didn't really know him that well before that. But it was cool because I got a lot of one-on-one time with him. Like he would just always like, hey, if you want to come up to the bus, just come up to the bus. Nice. And we'd hang out. And that was really special for me. Yeah. You know, super special because he was one of my idols. Right. And you know, I didn't fanboy him too hard. I've probably fanboyed Chad a little bit more. Okay. But, I mean, I was a bigger fan of Peanut, but for sure. I didn't want to be an idiot in front of him. I was like, I could be an idiot in front of Chad. He's just the drummer, and he's weird anyway. Whatever, so it doesn't matter. But no, you know, we just hung out so much and went on so many tours. We just became such good friends. And, you know, I don't really talk to them that much now, but fortunately I get to see them because we'll do a lot of festivals. We're 311 now that I'm in like the reggae scene. We're Slightly Stupid. We'll do a lot of, you know, shows with them and stuff. And I know their crew guys really well. And every time we run into those guys, it's always hugs and hang out for a while. And whatever, you know, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. So with that tour, there was some of the stuff I was reading, there was some tensions like Rancid and all, you know, and a lot of the...
Dryden's got a big mouth, you know, and I think it got worse after the bus accident. His like, get drunk and talk a bunch of smack.
What was the thing he said? Like, I challenge any of the bands to... We'll play one of your songs and you play one of our songs. And
he would say stuff like that. Let's see who does it better.
I thought that was kind of
He
funny.
also told Tim Armstrong from Rancid, because he was like, I don't know what happened. He would say stuff on stage where he was kind of like making fun of punk rock.
Poking the bear.
Yeah. Which was kind of like, it was one of those moments where you feel like you're the most punk rock band on tour because you're actually going like, we're playing in front of a big Target sign. Yeah. This isn't too punk rock. Right. You know, and we would, you know, he would make fun of that. Yeah. And the promoter or the guy that owned Warped Tour was on the tour. Okay. And Dryden liked to get drunk and just give him shit because he didn't like the way that he would, every morning you find out when you're playing. Right. A new order every single time. And we were breaking, us and Sum 41 were really breaking at the time. We were, I wouldn't say the only relevant bands, but we were the only ones that were on charts and on the radio at the time. Right. Probably 311 too, but 311 didn't play side stage. Yeah, right. First of all, you know, they never did. So, but we were playing side stage and, you know, we were selling thousands of records a week, us and Sum 41. Right. And Sum 41, I think, was kind of, they were more, I don't know, like they were more into it because they felt like they were a punk band, you know, and we didn't feel like a punk band at all. So it was like, we didn't care about Rancid and I like none of those bands I liked. I'm totally like, I liked a couple punk bands when I was a kid, but everything that happened punk when I was a kid that was current was not cool. Right. Like all the stuff that happened when I was young. The Vandals, they were on that tour too, though. But it was like D.I. and Black Flag. Those guys were cool. Bad Brains was obviously the best. Oh, yeah. But like all the new, like anything that like Green Day and after, to me, was just, who cares about that stuff, you know? I missed that boat completely. Yeah, yeah. So, but I think we all felt that way. So Yeah, he definitely poked the bear, and he said some shit. And there was the John Lennon Imagine bus that would follow the whole thing.
Okay.
And you can go up there and songwrite and do all this stuff. And Dryden was challenging, because him and a bunch of other punkers came up to Dryden one time, like, hey, man, you're swimming in shark-infested waters, and you better watch your mouth, and this and that. And Dryden was all, hey, dude, it's all good, man. It's a music festival. Like, we should be doing music stuff. Like, let's go on John Lennon and write a song right now. Let's go do that, you know, instead of sitting here, you know, thinking you're going to beat somebody up. But I think they ended up, someone told, and I think, unless they can show me the proof for the video, someone told Pennywise, because Fletcher was like a real big, huge dude. Okay. The guitar player of Pennywise. And they knew he liked to beat people up. So I think someone told Fletcher that Dryden talks shit on Pennywise. Okay. Which I don't think ever happened. Right. Because he was on our stage, like side stage one time, like trying to intimidate us. I had no idea, because I never heard anything negative about Pennywise at all.
Someone just wanted to see him fight you guys.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember him getting off and them trying to block us. I was like, hey, what's up, dude? Gotta get by here. You know? Right. Nobody had no idea what was going on. And people were saying, oh, Pennywise wants to kick your ass and this and that. Like, for what?
Yeah, what happened?
You know, not our ass, but his ass. He got the brunt of everything. Oh, yeah. And he caused a lot of ruckus on there with the promoter. We even had internal ruckus on that stuff. It was just a really bad tour. Yeah. And the great thing out of it was we got 311 to be our friends and take us out on tour and stuff.
Was it Slightly on that tour too?
Yes, they were. They were like in a van. They did it real hard. But I didn't meet them or know. Like, I just didn't know. There was like, I think a band called Switched on there we hung out with for a minute. Man, I'd have to go through the list. I really can't remember. But, you know, mostly it was like 311, and there was like some wrestlers and some bike guys that we hung out with. You know, everybody else, they can't really.
It wasn't, I mean, that particular show was cool on the pier with the water and like.
See, I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember what it looked like, or I can't remember that one. Yeah. But I mean, you saw it. So you were there, you know.
And it was cool for us because we knew Daniel, that we got to hang out on the side stage, like you said, and see you guys play and stuff. And it was like, this is so rad. So that was cool stuff. And by the way, I want to say, you're singing, like, watching you guys back then, and then obviously, you know, seeing videos or whatever, you're singing, your harmonies are like so cool and so good, and like, I feel like are very underrated.
Thank you.
You know, like
Mr. Smith, dude.
Yeah.
Madrigals.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Corona High School.
Dude, I didn't make it to Madrigals. I was in choir. Yeah. And I messed around too much that I didn't get my senior year. I didn't get in. Yeah. And I remember Nate Gatewood and all those guys got in, and they went to Hawaii for a thing. And I was like,
did you try out?
Messed up. He told me I wasn't. He told me, like,
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith. I mean, we had a rapport, and I would talk too much in there and stuff and mess around.
And he was just like, "You're not magical."
And he told me, he goes like, "You can sing, but you're not. You're not here being serious enough. So you know, don't even try out." And I was like,
I tried out and got in as a freshman.
Nice.
And so I was really close with him. Yeah, he was. He was a character. But I got to go on a lot of trips. Yeah, and met a lot of people going through there. You know. Yeah. Nate was a good friend. I haven't hung out with that guy in so long. It's so weird. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get to hang out with Daniel anymore either.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen him, and I talk to him. I text him every once in a while. But I
haven't seen that cat in a while either. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you about Robert and Dean DeLeo.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty cool.
That's super cool. And I was actually just surprised. Doing that record was amazing. When they came out, I was a huge Stone Temple Pilots fan. And that was a band where I was going, man, if I can write like this. I stole a couple riffs off of theirs. Sure. Like, it was because I've always saw myself as a songwriter. Everyone else saw me as a bass player,
Right.
but I saw myself as a songwriter. Started out on guitar first. Always had like a little Tascam recorder or something, trying to record. You know, not an engineer, but just doing whatever I have to get these ideas out.
Right.
You know,
cataloging.
Yeah, and that was the band where I was like, not only is there talent in there, but they can play stuff just for the sake of that's a cool riff.
Sure.
Like, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Obviously, something like that is a joke for them to play.
Sure.
But they know it sounds good.
Yeah.
They know it feels good,
Right.
And
they know the crowd's going to dig it.
They were like the first band that I can see all the pop sensibility and everything that they wrote.
Right.
And then once I got to start working with them, they were stealing all that stuff. Or not stealing, I wouldn't say, because that was the first time I would say this kind of music was like really heavy. But they were listening to all that bubblegum 60s girls you never heard of, like all that super fluffy pop stuff from the 60s.
Okay.
They loved it. They loved all that stuff.
So they were just vibing off that.
Dude, that's where they got all their, I think, I wouldn't say all of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got it from Led Zeppelin too.
Right, yeah.
But that's where they got a lot of their writing chops from.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're so good at what they do.
Yeah.
It was one of those like, whoa. So Robert and Dean would always, they nonstop talk about their past and what they were into and whatever.
Yeah.
They were even buying like little helicopters on a wire from eBay to play in the studio because it was something they when they were like 7, that was like the best toy in the world. So that was cool, to kind of be in their life like that. Funniest dudes, super funny. I mean, just never a dull moment with those guys. The only bad day I think we had is when Scott came into the studio.
Okay.
And that was when Velvet Revolver was first starting.
Okay.
And there was beef. There was like,
bad juju going on.
Well, I mean, here he is in the studio with Slash and Matt, and all those guys are super great guys,
Sure.
all nice guys.
Yeah,
And it had nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
But and it was cool because I mean we were, we got to meet them, we got to hang out with all them. They were super cool. The DeLeo brothers were really cool with them at the same time. But Scott wouldn't come out of the studio because he knew there was going to be drama with the brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really upset that he was trying to be in a band with somebody else rather than doing Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just, I think it was just it's kind of heartbreaking for them.
You're right.
Because they honestly felt that, he was the problem.
Yeah.
And they were willing to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously wanted him sober because he was on a path that ended up killing him. A path that everyone knows you're going to die from.
Right.
If you don't, get help.
Or just go nowhere good. Yeah.
And, here he is trying to live a sober life, moving on with an all-star band instead of the band he's known for.
Sure.
So that was, and here they are going, we can't play live music and we have to produce bands and stuff now instead of do what we're good at.
Yeah.
These guys were in airplanes and stuff going to gigs. They were huge. They were doing great. And then this guy just stopped it because of drug abuse, and then stopped it even further because he got exactly. They suffered for it, and they stood by and waited for him and tried to get him. They kept on getting him back, and then he'd leave again.
Put the time in to just wait around.
Yeah. So,
but how was that? What influence or what kind of part did they play with when you guys were working with them?
They just added their flair to our stuff. Mm-hmm. And what the cool thing is like I was already, when I was writing music for Ant Farm, I was already copping off of them. I was already taking their stuff.
Yeah, right.
So when they came in, they just made it more like theirs. There were some songs they just like, wouldn't say rewrote, but they were kind of more like, what would we do if we were to do this song?
A little more stamp on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't trying to write our songs for us. They definitely didn't write our songs for us. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many parts they actually came up with, but I would definitely say they had a heavy hand in influencing everything, you know? So they definitely, and I think just being around them and trying to impress them, you know, made us a little more, you know, I don't know, creative.
So cool you got to work with them.
Yeah, but there was times where they just straight up laughed at shit that we had. Like there was this song, because we were trying to, you know, we were like into Radiohead and stuff like that. We like bands that took you on like little journeys.
Right.
So when we would try to go on a little musical journey, like they just weren't about that because they came from that 60s pop writing stuff. You know what I mean? And they, you know, one time we got this idea for like this reggae kind of song. Yeah. And at the end of the reggae song, it ends up like turning into this whole like crazy rock thing that was really cool. It had a piano in it and it got really heavy for a second and it just had a lot of cool elements into it. And we were just like, dude, we're writing on the next level. Yeah. Felt really happy about ourselves. Yeah. And they came in and the parts started coming and then both of them just started dying. They just started laughing at it. They're like, dude, where's the pirate ship coming in? You know, and all this stuff. They just tore it apart. So there was that, and then there was other riffs and ideas that we had that, you know, Robert felt really bad one time because he came up like with like a parody type of thing, where he was really, I mean, these guys are like, especially Robert, like comedian level funny with jokes and stuff. Yeah, I have a list of all these songs that he creates while he's in the studio with Stone Temple and all this stuff, puts dumb lyrics to them and stuff. And yeah, it was just a real jokester. So anyways, he kind of ruined one of our songs and felt really bad because we couldn't get what he sang over it. Yeah. It was like, what was it? Are you ready for a good time? If you show me yours, hell, I'll show you mine. So he wrote that to one of these choruses. It was a very serious song. Yeah. But he just thought that was so funny. Oh, man. Like, he goes, oh, let's just do something like this. And he recorded it. And then later on, we're just like, every time we put that song on, we'd start singing that. And I remember one time. You
sabotaged our song.
Yeah, well, no, he was the one that was just like, you know what, I feel like I'm responsible for ruining that song. And I think this is a really good song, and I wish we could write a chorus to it, but now everyone's thinking it's a joke. Yeah. You know, and he was like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, you know? But it's all good, you know? That was a good laugh. It was funny stuff. But yeah, those guys were always like, they would hand me just discs of CDs, or at the time, just of just different songs that they were influenced, and I would just burn them. Put them in my computer, and I'd just listen to all these different songs. I've learned about all kinds of different bands. Really got into Glenn Campbell because of them. Okay. And if you listen to Glenn Campbell, it's all in there. Like their stuff, like their slower stuff, you're just like, dude, that's like straight up Glenn Campbell. It's crazy, you know?
Interesting, dude.
Yeah, so their influences and the stuff they gave me, you can really hear what like shaped their sound. Yeah. But so that was cool. I mean, that was a really good education working with them. And plus, I mean, just great guys and being such a huge fan of their band. When we found out that they were on the table, because I wanted to get, for our second album, we had so much success with the first one, we could have pretty much worked with whoever we wanted to. Right. And I was such a huge Cardigans fan. Okay. That the guy that writes all their songs, the guitar player, he's also the producer. He produces all that stuff. And that second album, which is called First Band on the Moon. Okay. The production of that record is phenomenal. It's like all like kind of old school sounding, and there's cool samples he makes, drum loops and stuff like that, that I was just like, dude, this is incredible. I mean, he was like doing the Chemical Brothers work with Beck. how they'll record stuff and then they turn it into samples. He was doing that for his band.
Oh, that's cool.
It sounded incredible. So I was always like, oh, let's get that guy. Let's get that guy to produce this next record, because we want to go a little more weirder or something like that. And they said, well, Dean and Robert DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots are actually looking for producing jobs. And I was like, right there. There it is.
Yeah.
There it
Say
is.
no more.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get those guys.
That's killer.
And we did, talk to other producers and stuff. And I was,
Came back
we
around.
were just like, no, absolutely. We're going to work with Dean and Robert. Those guys are like the best writer. I mean, if you ever gone to a Stone Temple Pilot show,
I have,
dude, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Next song. Really?
I know.
Like, you're getting like 14, 15 songs deep. You're like, dude, I know every single one of these songs because they're on the radio, not because I listen to the records nonstop.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It's because all these songs are on the radio.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember seeing them with the Chili Peppers, and they did like a 5 or 6 song acoustic thing where they just kind of came, and then they went to their instruments and played like a hour and a half of just rock, you know, and it was like, but like you said, it's just like, oh yeah, every single song, hit. It's like, I know this one.
Yeah, they told me a good story about that tour, but I only the quote that stayed with me is when he goes, Anthony Kiedis came up to us, he says, I wish you no malice. And that's all I really recall from that. So I'll say that every once in a while. I wish you no malice. Yeah, serious Anthony Kiedis. That's funny.
Well, tell me a little bit, fast forwarding to when you went to Berkeley. So that's pretty interesting to me.
I've always felt that I needed to hone in my writing skills, or production skills, which means that, being able to write for orchestra, be able to read, be able to play jazz, just be able to do everything. Yeah. I felt like I had a passion to learn all that stuff. Right. I really wanted to learn about music theory. I really wanted to know how music learned or worked. And so I started off with, I was still in the band, decided to go back to RCC and play in their jazz band, and be in their jazz thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went there for about a year and a half, I think, 3 semesters there before I went to Berkeley. I just wanted to check it out. I wanted to learn how to read and wanted to learn how to play an upright bass and do all that stuff, just become more of a complete musician to where, we did some orchestra stuff on our albums that I had to tweak because I just didn't think those the parts were correct.
Right.
Like
just didn't sound right to you.
Yeah, it just didn't sound right. So I had to go in there and tweak them, and I got through it and everything, and everyone's like, dude, you know how much this costs? You can't do that. You just like let them do it and do whatever. And I was like, no, I just want to fix this part, you know? And I kind of felt foolish being in those situations and not being able to talk to musicians. Right. And not being able to go in there and just be like, hey, this is what we got to do.
Right.
We need to do this voicing. We need to do, so that's kind of like, I went there to learn the upright, to play jazz, to understand what jazz really is, and to, orchestrating stuff. And then that turned into, I want to be a score composer. Right.
Yeah, for people that don't know about Berkeley, it's a pretty prestigious school.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. They just came out with a movie that's all about it. It's called Coda.
Is it hard to? It's hard to get in, right?
I think when I went, it wasn't too bad. I think it's harder to get in now. But we were, when I was auditioning, it was for trying to get, you had to read and all that stuff. You had to be somewhat proficient. Right. But when I auditioned, I was already playing jazz and doing all that stuff for a year and a half. So I was doing pretty well because, Amp Farm wasn't working that much. Mm-hmm. And I think I ended up quitting when I was still at RCC. So I was doing nothing but
just playing,
and reading every day.
Owning,
So that was, it very well could have been, 800 900 days of just solid playing and studying, you know what I mean? Because that's all I was doing at that time. I was writing. I was trying to learn how to compose. I was doing, you know, I just drowned in myself and I loved it. And
you went to the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Because there's UC Berkeley, right?
That's a different one.
Okay, different one. Okay.
Berkeley's a college of music.
Okay.
So, but I went to that one and, I mean, just loved everything about it. I mean, I was writing fugues and, you know, 4-part harmony, just crazy stuff I never would imagine. And then would have players, because everyone's like proficient sight readers there. Right. Just like, you know, you put your manuscript out or whatever, and they just sit there and they play it. And you're like, oh my God.
To hear what comes from your mind.
Well, this is one thing that was crazy. They in some of these like advanced counterpoints and stuff like those kind of classes where you're doing more of the classical style stuff, you are following so many rules and you have so many options within those rules that it's like working out a mathematical problem. So they'll say like you have to do at least like 138 bars of a fugue, 4-part harmony, and you have to use at least this amount of themes and this many ideas, you know, of these themes. Okay. These are so many different ways you can mess with these. Right. And so I would just sit down for hours a night just going through this is way too hard. Like every single line you had to make sure it was correct and on point and the right harmony. Just so many things he had to do and just such a big, long piece. Right. And at the end of the year, that was like the final. Okay. And at the end of the year, you put all your pieces up and like a string quartet would play it. And you'd sit there and you wouldn't even like, you know, you might hear it back on the program, the manuscript program or the sheet writing program. Yeah. You might hear it back on that and that cheesy little MIDI, whatever sounds they use. Right. But to actually hear it, you know, live and
real instrumentation,
have someone playing it. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, I wrote that and I don't even know I did it. You know, I remember putting the hours in and but I had no idea what it actually sounded like. I just turned it in and here you go. And it got graded and then played. And I was like, wow, that's cool hearing that for the first time. Sound like Bach wrote it. You know what I mean? But
killer. Yeah. So let's get into some Meek talk.
Yeah.
Once again, got to say your vocals, dude.
Thank you.
Killer. I was digging it.
Yeah.
I love the concept thing of it all.
Yeah.
As we said, you know, bringing back the hills.
That kind of like happened organically. Okay. That was one of the, I mean, I was going through such a bad like period of my life with my ex-wife. It was, and it just, that stuff just came flowing out. Yeah. So that one didn't, I mean, it was a lot of work to get that record done. Yeah. But the cool thing was Joe and I and Dan, we were doing that for years, and we would just get together every Friday and work on these tunes. So when I moved to Boston and I was like, I want to, you know, I'm not Ant Farm anymore. I want to do the project that I've always wanted to do. Like I've talked to the guitar player Dredge. Okay. He was kind of like one of the guys that I wanted to do this style of music with. And you know what? He was kind of already doing it, so probably not the best idea to get him to do it. He's be like, yeah, I'm going to do the same project twice, you know? Right. I mean, it doesn't sound like Dredge, but it's more that mellow psychedelic type kind of thing, which I sought out for it to be more of a psychedelic album. And I don't think Red Sprite Lightning is that psychedelic. It's just, it's more mellow, you know? It's not super psychedelic. It's psychedelic in the way that like Pink Floyd is kind of, you know. Yeah. It's not trying to do all these weird delays and sounds and all that stuff. It's not like modern day psychedelia. Yeah. But we were trying for that, and it ended up just like, you know, I wanted it to be a psychedelic thing. I wanted it to be more like, you know, the weirder sounds that Ant Farm was doing meets the Spiderworks stuff. That's exactly where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Or at least just the weird stuff that I was doing, or the more psychedelic, what I don't even, the more mellow songs, whatever, that I was doing with Ant Farm, but just have those guys on it. You know, kind of that stuff. And that's what it kind of ended up being. But, you know, I tried to, it's funny, the elements, the Spiderworks elements and the Meek stuff, I think came more from me than them. You know what I mean?
Well, you were drawing it out of them again. You're like,
well, I mean,
bring
it was
this back.
like I was purposely writing it to be like, this is what you guys would do.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this on top of your riff that you're not doing anything that you would normally do.
That's funny.
So, but, you know, I was just such a huge fan of that record. So, you know, it was a passion project. Never really cared if anyone liked it. Didn't try to promote it too much. Just try to get it paid for, really.
Right. Get it made.
I would love for, I'm just not the guy that goes out and gets gigs and stuff. I try. And, you know, I didn't know which band to jump on to try to like get gigs with. I hit up all my friends. No one seemed to try to throw us any bones. Yeah. You know, I would call like, you know, just other local places, and they would, you know, like a friend here from a friend or someone from another friend here would get us on a show that there'd be like 10 people there or something like that, you know, and we would go and play the shows, but I couldn't get, you know, I was trying to get a guy to be a manager that can go out and get shows, and we didn't get any shows. We were doing shows where we were like opening up for Iron Maiden cover bands. I'm like, dude, like, where's all the bands out here? Like, who does original stuff? Like, does this not happen anymore? Yeah, do people not, you know, go out there and gig? Yeah. Because that's what I kept on running into. So I was just like, you know, I'm not going to do this. Like, I mean, I would love to go out there and play shows and do more things, but like I would just have to throw the show myself, right? And go old school with it. And all the people that liked to do it when they were in their mid-20s, now in their 40s, 50s, would have to probably come out to watch it. And it just, I don't know. Well, I like how Meek kind of had the ebb and flow between the songs. If you listen to it, you know? Well, there was a lot of purpose in everything with that record. There was, You know, and it told a story. Yeah, it told a story, but like, like I said, it was kind of just all fell in organically. But I was like, oh, I'll start that off with this song. Yeah. Oh, this song will be here. Oh, this will be the middle of the album. Oh, this will be the end. You know what I mean? They kind of all just like, they fell into place. Nice. Like I'm working on an album right now where I'm having a real hard time. Like going, what is the first song? What is this? Am I going to connect something here? It's not organically falling into place like that. It's just, it's all these. Got to work for it. Yeah, my mind's a little more all over the place than it was with this record. Like this record, I feel like, or the Red Sprite Lightning record, like I feel like it's cohesive. Like everything sounds like it's, except for maybe the very last song. But but it sounds like it's the same band. Yeah, you know, writing the same stuff. And this new album, I think it sounds like kind of like 3 different bands so far. I gotta say, the standout track for me on Meek is "Floating Away." Oh, okay. And I don't know if you're familiar with a band called Unified Theory. No. It's when Blind Melon broke up because of Shannon. It was the guitar player, Christopher, and the bass player. Okay. The very first drummer for Pearl Jam, and this unknown singer that they brought in that kind of had this Geddy Lee kind of falsetto thing going. You should definitely check them out. Yeah, Unified Theory. And that song really reminds me of that band. That song, that's the Joe Hill riff. Okay. That's a Joe Hill. Joe Hill was, I think there's 5 songs. I think there's 5 songs that I wrote completely by myself on that record. And then the rest were either older ideas. I think these were actually like Dreaming, which is the second one, and then Floating Away. I think those were actual tracks that were supposed to be, they were like Spiderworks ideas. Okay. That just kind of didn't go anywhere or got shot down or whatever. And so I think he, you know, he's like, hey, can you do anything with this?
Right.
And Floating Away was actually one of the first songs that I think we started working on.
Cool.
And funny thing is I can't remember what the original lyric was, but I thought when I was doing the step outside, step outside, step outside, to me, I have this tendency a lot to think that. But I always feel like I'm ripping off Queens of the Stone Age. And then I go listen to Queens of the Stone Age. I go, when did they ever do something like this? It sounds nothing like Queens of the Stone Age. But every time I'm doing something, I don't know if it's one of those things like going, oh man, they would probably kill this right now if they sound like this, you know, or you know, I should sell this to them, or you know, this is how they should sound. I don't know, but
this is something they would write.
Or they should write or something, you know, or they are, you know, I wish Josh would sing this. You know, this would probably sound cool for him, you know. But yeah, it had another, I can't remember the lyric. Anyways, but it was something else. But yeah, I think that might have been the first song on that album, and that song was probably written like 4 or 5 years before we actually got to record that record. Yeah. But it totally goes to the total Spiderworks part, ding, you know, I was like, because I didn't want to, you know, and that was all my idea. I was like, oh, you got to do this. I hope they'll do it. I hope they'll do it. You know what I mean?
Like, no, that's too Spiderworksy.
Yeah. I was hoping they would.
More.
Yeah, I was hoping they would do it. There's several moments on there where I was just like, you know, because I'm playing with the guys and it's their riffs, or his riff that he's showing me, and I'm like, okay, I have to finish this song because he just has one idea. Yeah, and I got to finish the whole song. So, well, what would he do when he was 24? Yeah, you know, maybe he would do something like this. So.
Well, it's a good album, dude. I mean, I didn't jump onto that until seeing you on YouTube and stuff talking about it, and I was like, I gotta check this out. And your singing is really killer, and I just dig. I mean, the more I listened, I was like telling my wife, I'm like, you got to check this out. Like, and we were listening to it in order, you know. Yeah. And like I said, it's got. And
I made sure like there was, you know, artwork to it, so I kind of get a visual and make sure all the lyrics are in there. And, but you know what was really cool about that record is that I did get Peanut to talk on it.
I remember you saying that.
That was the cool thing about it.
There's somebody like. Kind of stuff going on.
A lot of this stuff is me. Some of the other stuff is like either friends or people that like paid to come. Because it was a Kickstarter thing.
Right?
And they would pay to come watch it being recorded in the studio. So a couple of them did, and I was just like, hey, come and do some stuff on this. So cool. You know, so like
utilize you.
Yeah, exactly. And. Yeah, but it was cool because Peanut, I hit him up. I go, look, I need a main character, somebody that's into kind of drama and stuff like that. And because he was shooting short films or something like that when I was talking to him all the time. He was really into that. We'd always talk movie stuff all the time. So I was like, if I ever get the opportunity to turn this into some kind of film or something, like, you would be the star. You know, so,
like,
you know, I don't
put your voice on there and then you can,
so
then you're
in.
in.
The same thing, you know what I mean? And so he was like, yeah, I'll totally do it. And it was cool. He ended up doing that for me.
Nice. I just wanted to get an update from you. I know I was through reading stuff I didn't know about your cancer and you know, your health update as far as all that goes.
Well, cancer was an easy thing. It was scary, but it was an easy thing. Right. You know, they cut it out. They wanted me to do chemo and all that. I just happened to be on tour with a guy that had went through it, but he had stage 4 testicular that ended up going through his whole body.
Right. Yeah.
And he told me not to take any of the stuff. Okay. So I didn't. Yeah. And so far, so good. I have to like do tumor tests and I'm supposed to be living a healthy lifestyle, which I need to get back to. But but yeah, so far, so good. That was, you know, the only thing that took me out of commission for a while because after the operation, I couldn't move around for a while. Right. And, you know, they gave me, I don't know if anyone's had oxycodone. But don't take that stuff. It doesn't take away the pain. It just makes you really high.
Right.
And I could understand how there's like an epidemic
going on. For sure.
Of opioids and stuff, because that shit's the devil, man.
Yeah.
It's killing so many. I know most people are dying from fentanyl because they think they're getting that.
Right.
And all the people that were getting that stuff are doing heroin. But that stuff, they gave that to me for my operation. And I think I took it maybe 3 days. I think it was more like 2. But I took it 3 days, and there was one point where I'm sitting there and my kids are on the couch because I couldn't go upstairs or anything. So I just had to chill on the couch for like a month. And I was just sitting there going, man, like my whole crotch area is killing me, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm so high right now, and I don't think
that's not helping.
This isn't helping at all. I'm just really high.
Right.
I could probably get drunk and stoned and feel the same way. Yeah. So that was. I don't recommend any of those.
Right.
I'm so against them.
Yeah.
So against opioids because of that. You know? So I understand what some people are going through. I mean, I know a lot of people get that stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So that was your
common.
firsthand experience to go, okay.
Yeah, I stopped it immediately.
Right.
I was just like, this ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
The first day, I don't even think I even felt it. Well, it was the first day, but I got the operation, then woke up the next day and started taking it, and I was in so much pain, I don't even think I felt anything except for pain.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this was like taking an ibuprofen. And then the day after that, second day of recovery, I was like, whoa. Trashed.
Yeah.
Freaking super high right now.
Yeah, right.
And I'm in a lot of pain. But so that wasn't so bad. But what almost killed me was COVID. COVID almost killed me. That was gnarly.
Yeah.
But I do get back to the cancer thing. The really cool part is that I'm the breadwinner of my family, and after leaving the band and all this and moving out, and there's all kinds of stuff that I needed help.
Yeah.
And my wife at the time started GoFundMe, and a lot of people came through. A lot of people helped us, and that was amazing. We really needed that.
Felt that love, yeah.
Yeah, because I was really at that point to where, a lot of the things that I did investment-wise and stuff like that, like when the stock market, when Obama became president, a lot of things just went in the market, and everyone was worried about whatever. And I lost a lot of money practically overnight. Stuff that, because I thought it was always smart to get everything that you got and go, invest and do that and do the right thing, have your money work for you and stuff. It ended up biting me in the ass. Yeah, it was really upsetting because I worked really hard for all that. You know?
Right.
Worked really hard for it. I had to end up I lost that, and then I ended up selling my house, and we were in a bad deal with the ant farm, and that's why I just had to leave, because I was like, these guys everyone's cool with sitting around and not making any money.
Was that part of the issue? I thought you mentioned something about with the management and stuff, and you kind of saying, let's get rid of this guy, and them on board and then not on board, and you're kind of going...
Well, they just dragged everything out. A process that should have been done in 6 months.
Yeah.
We're on year 3 going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone's, getting broke, and then we end up start being in different bands and trying to get something else working and producing here and this and that, just trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I was like, look, I just can't do this. I have kids. I can't do this anymore. I went from kind of having everything I ever wanted to just being like, wait a minute, am I going to be able to survive now?
Right.
And then I got cancer.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. Not now. Not give me another. I still got to go out and work. I got to get some things worked together and stuff like that. But
and then not too long after that, you got divorced. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like
yeah, that was such a weird time too, because the mother of my children could care less if I got sick.
Damn it.
Yeah, she was trying to be there as much as possible, but it was funny because I still tell people this about what I was dealing with, this kind of sums it up. When I was officially diagnosed and they told me what that tumor was and that it was actually a tumor and what it is and what's going to happen. We came out of the room with the doctor and she goes, I was going to give you a hug. Do you need a hug? And I looked at her, I go, are you a fucking robot? Like this is the kind of person I had to deal with through that stuff. It was,
that's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. It sucked. But you know, it ends up. Yeah. I got out of that, and now life is amazing. So it's all good now.
Yeah, cancer's it's
scary.
F cancer. I know the guy. It's my mother-in-law. She had chemo and all that stuff, and and she beat it and. She still gets tested and stuff, and my grandma,
tests, CT
grandpa,
scans.
There's people in the family. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so,
that's a bad one.
Ape shit.
Yeah,
is that still a thing?
I wish.
Okay,
no,
I wasn't sure. Okay,
me and Artie still. He lives in Indio. I live out here. We get together. I mean, we work together right now because he's working with Stupid.
Yeah.
I think he's coming out on Wednesday to work on another project of his.
Okay.
Where his girlfriend's singing on it because his girlfriend's a pretty good singer. I tried to. Do you know the band Mantis?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jimmy, their drummer.
Okay.
I tried to get him to play on it because that's always been our thing. We can't find a drummer.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of Artie's idea to get somebody with a name.
Okay.
Because he's like, oh, you got a name, I got a name. Let's get someone else with a name. I'm just like, let's just get the project going.
Yeah.
I'm just like a let's get to work kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I hit up Jimmy and I'm like, hey, let's do this, And so he's on board. He wants to do it. And Artie's just that guy. He's like, well, you go jam with them and then go record and see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, I'll get my guy. So that's kind of one of those things where he complains about the same thing. He is a hard worker. Don't get me wrong. Like with all his other projects, because he's got House of Broken Promises, I think it is, and then he's got what's it called, Death and Pretty Rapping or something like that. And then he's working with his girlfriend,
right,
who's also a singer, songwriter chick, real good singer. So he's, and he's got his own studio. He his house is a studio, and it's pretty legit. So he works with other bands as well. So I know we want to do the project.
Yeah.
And we have all these songs. I've recorded all my parts. I don't know what's taking so long.
I love the King Kong. Yeah. The Planet of the Apes. The concept
of all that stuff.
Is so killer.
Jungle Book. The red flowers in there.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Yeah, the King Kong, all of it. It's all that whole, monkey movie.
Yeah.
Monkey movie. Dude, that's the thing. It's so fun. It's such a given.
Yeah.
How are we not doing it?
And you guys really feed off each other, dude.
It's kind of whole kind of comedy routine.
What's the story about? So were you both were working with Godsmack and seeing the opening acts and...
Well, it was being in Europe and stuff, and we know. I mean, he's been in the business. He's toured all around the world and been in signed bands and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we get it, and here we are, two musicians that can, really play and do whatever we want musically, especially when it comes to rock or whatever. And we're sitting right next to each other. We're working for Godsmack. We're on these tours where it's you see all these other bands that are just okay, and they're playing in front of thousands of people, and we're going, why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
We should just start a band, call it Ape Shit, and just play whatever,
We'll kill it. We're better than those guys.
Yeah, just do this. Yeah, just whatever, cool, killer riffs, and then it's started turning into, what if we have this kind of wrestle mentality persona? We have this, for Middle America, we kind of have this whole.
I love it.
But the thing is, it's there's a little bit of a joke in it.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of truth in it, too.
Yeah.
As far as, how we act with each other and what we think is fun. And
you guys are funny together, dude. The little clips and stuff of your banter between each other is pretty funny.
And and that was the thing. The whole ape shit is constant laughing.
Yeah.
It's just constant. There is an act, but based off of truth.
Yeah, right.
Like Artie and I can definitely very much be egomaniacs. Totally can be there.
Yeah.
You know, but to be able to like say, okay, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to play this character. But instead of like feeling this internally or saying this, you know, looking at something, a situation like a band, like you said, we're better than them.
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that. When it comes to that ape shit, that's the moment where we go, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're allowed to talk. We even start talking to each other like we're better than each other. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, you know, all musicians, they have to have, you know, some kind of ego.
A little confidence.
Yeah. But so we kind of just take it to where it's
another
like,
level.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
But it's playful.
Fun,
that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
It's that we take it to where it's entertaining people.
You're like poking fun of yourself almost a little bit.
Because we are. But the goal is also to entertain people too. You know, have these two guys kind of go at it, and we're talking like we have so many great ideas. The whole thing was like the intro that takes forever because the one guy wants to come out before the other guy, you know, splitting the stage in half. You know what I mean? There's great. Like all these things where it's just like you have to pay attention to this guy or you pay attention to this. You're not getting both.
Right.
So pick your side. Yeah. You know, which guy are you going to... And
you're both fighting for that attention in that spot.
Yeah. Look at
who are you going to choose?
Yeah. So there was that whole, you know, he's like, oh, dude, you're going to go out first. Oh, I'm not going out first. You're going out first.
Right.
Yeah.
Like some Spinal Tap shit right there.
You're going to go out first. You know, like it's just those kind of things that I was like, God, I wish this band was actually like touring and putting out records because this would be the funniest shit out there. Like,
I'm sure once you guys find the right drummer.
Well, I think it's Jimmy, but you know, we just haven't. Like, I need to go to his house. I need to hit him up. Like, I need to let's do this. You know, even if I have to go out there by myself or just take all the tracks and just record it. And say,
India's just right down the.
I know. Well,
take the back way to Anzo Borrego.
I drive a Suburban.
Nice drive.
I drive a Suburban. India's not just
true.
right
The
there.
gas guzzler.
It cost me $125 for a 3/4 take.
Yeah, that's an investment.
Yeah, $125 every time I want a 3/4 take filled up.
Separate note, do you have any Foo Fighter stuff since all this stuff coming up with Taylor this week? I just wanted to...
No, I asked my kids if they wanted to do There Goes My Hero.
Yeah.
So I asked them if they wanted to do that. They didn't seem too interested.
Okay.
So I'm all set with that. I'm not a big Foo Fighters fan.
Oh, okay.
I respect them a lot.
Yeah.
And there's some riffs and songs in there where I'm like, wow, that's incredible. But I also feel the same way about Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
You know, there's Led Zeppelin stuff that I just can't stand.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I think is great.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything there might be like a riff, maybe two riffs of Foo Fighters that I can't stand.
Okay.
For the most part, I like it.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'd ever like catch myself putting it on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I own a few albums, but I have to say seeing them live
I've seen them live a bunch.
How they like My Hero or whatever, where at the end they go into they have these written extra
parts. Like Heroes, like a song start to finish, I think is perfect.
Yeah.
And there was that there was another song they had that was really good too. But like there's always songs that I'll hear, like I'll go like 85% of the song is awesome and they just blew it on the other 15, 20% of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
That's the kind of band they are for me.
I was just interested. It's sad, you know.
Oh, it's
heartbreaking.
I think he's great. You know, I think all of them are great.
Sure.
And I've seen them live probably, I think 4 times now.
Okay.
And I love them. Like watching them live, like you said, they're great live.
Right.
And I don't think I like doing the little bass videos now.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a couple more that I want to do. And I don't see that making its way in there.
Sure.
The stuff's not complicated
not at all.
enough.
No.
But I would love to be the bass player for that band.
Yeah.
I think I would have a blast in that band, you know. I think I'd fit right in with that band. Like and it's sad that Taylor's gone because I felt like that's what the band was.
Yeah.
Was Taylor and Dave.
Sure.
And a little bit of Pat.
Yeah.
But everybody else is kind of just doing their thing.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. There's not a lot going on with Nate's bass stuff, you know.
If I was like, dude, if I was in that band, they'd have 3 of those guys. Three of those guys being clowns. But
well, let's talk about the credits, dude, because I have 3 kids, and so I can't wait till they get to a place where I can be like you, and I can get the whole family in on it.
Dude, it's awesome. It's so fun because, you know, I wish we can be a TV show. Because my kids are so goofy. Yeah. And they do the funniest stuff. And I know a lot of it comes from just being a kid and they're so exposed to so much internet stuff. But, you know, I think that whole like MTV generation, us festival where people were looking up to rock stars and wanted to be like them. You know, now everybody wants to watch somebody play something else. Yeah. You know, they want to, you know, so they don't want to do it themselves. But I feel like my kids are, you know, they're growing up in like the same generation that I was. That's how I feel. Okay. They like the same kind of music. They like the 90s.
It's come full circle.
Yeah, it has. I mean, their friends don't really, you know, they might have a couple friends that are kind of into it. Yeah. But I think that
it doesn't hurt they got you as their dad.
But I mean, it's cool, you know, but they put the work in. That's the thing I push them by putting the equipment in the house. Yeah. I push them by always doing music in front of them. Right. You know, or trying to get them to go to shows or something like that.
You're not hammering it into them. It's just no there. And they.
No way. Yeah. I just show them videos and stuff. Like here, you know, we'll listen to, I don't allow like processed music in the car. Yeah. You know, the music that you like someone has to be playing.
Organic instrumentation must be played.
Yeah. So I love it. And I know it's better for their minds. Sure. You know? Because
subconsciously they have to pick up.
My oldest son is just turned 13. He's in 7th grade. Okay. And he's, you know, kids that he went to school with are now starting to listen to rap and hip hop and stuff, or have been. Yeah. And now they're starting to become adults. Right. They're getting there. And my son's telling me like, oh, these guys, like my friends that I grew up with, they're all starting to talk like gangsters and stuff. Yeah.
It's influencing their life.
Yeah. So I was just like, no, that's not happening to you guys. Yeah. Like, you guys, you know, you're going to be normal people. You're not going to pretend to be some kids from Corona pretending to be gangsters. Come on, man. Like, no.
Well, you guys got some cool videos of doing those songs. I want to ask about, what was the gig? You had Mike come down, play drums in Riverside with you and the boys. So that was
for my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, so for my birthday, that was super cool. That was crazy, man. Like, I didn't think it was going to end up being like that. I was trying to get other people to all come and play. Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to play, but I also wanted to watch and hang out. And I ended up having to play on everything.
You were up there singing, playing.
I got no breaks. I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to do this again. And I like hit up my brother's band and I was like, hey, how about we do like reunions every year? Like, we'll get a band that was in the Riverside scene, like Color Red can play. Yeah. My brother's like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm sure as hell not going to play all night again, so maybe I just won't do this. Right. But essentially, it started out as we wanted to play Shiver, and it was going to be at our house. Okay. We wanted to play Shiver for my birthday, and Carpet was going to play. Okay. So it was like, we could do some Carpet stuff, and then we'll play Shiver.
That's so
for
cool,
my,
dude.
60 friends that would have been there or something like that. And we were trying to work it out, like where we're going to put it in our house and stuff like that. And we just bought some new furniture because we have our own front room. The kids have their own front room. And we were going to do it in the kids' front room, but we just decorated it and did all this stuff. So I was like, okay, we'll just take all this out and put it in the garage. And she's like, I wish we could get a venue. So we're like, all right, I could probably get a venue. Yeah. I know the guys that, I know Gary that owns that Raincross Bar and Grill. Okay. He's got a venue upstairs. I go, maybe he'll give it to us. Yeah. So I hit him up. Yeah, I'll give it to you. I was like, cool. So I just started hitting more people up, like Mike Cosgrove from Ant Farm and, my kids. I was like, hey, let's learn these songs. Yeah. And then my carpet friends and, we're going to, Mike came up, played a couple of Nirvana songs with the kids, and he played some Primus stuff with us, and then my other bass player friend got up there and played, and then we did a Meek set. Okay, just us three, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna play Spiderworks, the Shiver. Yeah. And so we did that. It was a great night. Dude, we had we had a blast, and it was like, it wasn't like charged or anything. Just come on in. It was a free show. Yeah. Friends and family, celebration. Just I think music, maybe like 80 or so many people were there, and we had a great time, and it was a successful night. But I definitely was on the stage way too much, way too much. Right. We should have cut some fat out, did 10 less songs, and took maybe 20, 30 minutes between bands just to hang out and party. Right. Did you say Carpet played for that or no? Yeah, Carpet played for that. That's so cool, dude. Yeah, so it started off with the credits. Okay. And they did a couple Beatles songs. We did a Weezer song. Yeah. Nirvana. The older boys did 2 Nirvana songs with Mike Cosgrove. Right. Didn't you sing though? You were singing and playing. Yeah, I was singing and playing, right. Yeah. And I didn't get out of one song. I had everything I had. It sucked. But I mean, because I couldn't drink or do anything until the Spiderworks stuff came out. Yeah. So it was like a 3-hour show or whatever. And then everyone's wasted having a great time. And I'm just like, damn, I don't even get to drink yet. Yeah. I want to have fun. It's my birthday. Yeah, right. So, but I mean, it was my fault, but it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, they played. And then Carpet played. How cool is that to go all the way back to so cool. Jam? I mean, do you jam often, every so often, or? No, we want to. We talk about it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, we're gonna throw because we did it a year or so before for my girlfriend's birthday. Okay, I was just like, hey, I should get the guys that we should do Carpet, should get together and just jam. Yeah, because that's the old school Corona clique right there. Yeah. So it's like let's of course. Yeah. So yeah, and all of our friends were there, and they were like, yeah, Carpet. But our kids, the credits played at our house one year when Carpet played together. Okay. Our kids opened up for us. That's sick, played a couple songs, but yeah, they were so young. I mean, I think they only knew 3 songs at the time. They're playing Seven Nation Army. That's so cool that you get to do that with them, man. Yeah, it is cool. But now it's I get to jam with them. Sure. Really jam with them. I mean, the next phase is that they're going to be too cool to jam with you. Yeah. I hopefully enjoy this now while you can. Hopefully. I would love for them to kick me out. Yeah. Because I really want them to sing and do all that stuff, and they kind of rely on me for that. Bro. Yeah. When they were jamming today, they did ask me to come up, and they were singing. Yeah. Singing and playing, because that's what I really want them to get into is singing and playing. Pick it up and play on their own. Because that's the hard part. Sure. Singing and playing is the hard part. Yeah, so if they're starting to do that. And they're young, dude. So, I mean. They're really young. Yeah. I mean, the drummer, my second son, the drummer, he's only 10. Right. And he's wailing it on there, I mean, he's not internet sensation good. But he was playing Bulls on Parade, and he was doing the I was like, dang, he's killing it. Yeah. That's if sick. He really puts his mind, he's a really smart kid. Yeah. If he's one of those kids that's he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's timid. He's a real big goofball. Yeah. But he's one of those kids, if he wants to be really good at something, he will be or he can be.
Yeah.
And he does really well at school.
Yeah.
And stuff. But he's also both of Theron and my son Dorian, they both have a tendency to get really angry and frustrated when they can't get something fast.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're used to getting everything
and you
fast.
want it so bad, you know, it's just not coming. But
Kelton, my oldest son, he plays a little bit of everything now. He started out more as the bass player. Now he's playing a lot of guitar.
Yeah.
But he's really starting to fly.
That's cool.
He's starting to get really good, and he's singing and playing at the same time. Unfortunately, he has a really low voice, and it's sad because all the stuff he likes is all high.
Yeah.
But he's getting really good, but that's because he just does it every day for like 2-3 hours at least. You know?
Dude, the Pixies thing was on point that you guys did. That sounded really good.
That's all one take stuff too.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. Not all the video stuff is one take, but what it is, like I'll record each kid like 3 times.
Yeah.
And, you know, just so I have different angles. Because I'm just shooting it with my phone.
Right.
You know, if I had 2 or 3 phones, which I probably could, but I only have one tripod.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess I could hold one or whatever, but so I'm shooting it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking the best one solid take.
The best angles too that you can get.
Yeah, I'm getting the best angles, but essentially, like when you're listening to the drum stuff, there's like might be like one different little thing he did in there.
Yeah.
You listen to the bass stuff, it's 3 tracks exactly the same.
That's cool.
You know, the guitar stuff, same thing. It's 3 tracks exactly the same. Like maybe one little mess up, one flub or something. So, you know, I'm trying to keep those kids to where, you know, it's always about the performance, not just the recording. It's about getting through the whole song.
And did you guys do that because you were going to the Pixie show?
Yeah. And I picked the song and everything, which I'm starting to find out that I shouldn't do that. Like they should pick the stuff.
Yeah, but it's not a good.
It's just I love that song so much.
It's a good one.
And they don't have the ideas.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going, hey Dad, let's play Bone Machine or something for the Pixies thing.
Give a little lead.
I'm like, if I'm gonna play a Pixie song, I'm gonna play Javelina because that's like my favorite song, you know? And I just go, hey, learn the song, we'll record it, put it out before the Pixie show and honor the Pixies, go see Pixies. And they're just like, okay.
Right.
And that's it. It's not like they're like, well, I mean, that song's cool, but what about like Alakai or something? Like, what if we play something like that, you know?
Right.
They're like, cool, whatever you guys want to play.
Sure.
But, you know, and I'm
throw something out there. I'll bite.
Yeah. So song number 2 is like their new one where they're like trying to work on. I was like, you know, that was like the first time I think I was like, I think I'm just going to let them do that.
Cool.
Like let them figure it out and kind of get away from me a little bit.
Right.
You know, I'll be the videographer and the editor and put it out on social media. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You know, you guys figure out what you want to do. You guys have fun with it.
That's cool, dude.
Because I'm really the one that's having fun with it.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, we're working on Big Bang Baby from Stone Temple Pilots. And it got to the point to where like I was making my son cry because he wants to go hang out with his friends. Yeah. And he wants me to go take him there. And I'm like, no, we got to record this song. Yeah. You know, we got to record this. I've been telling you all weekend we're going to record this song. Right. And I've let you do whatever you want to do for the last 2 or 3 days. But now it's time to like get some work done.
Give me a couple hours.
Let's get some work done, you know. And he wants to go, and he's over there in his set, drying his eyes.
I want to play with my friends.
Yeah, my 10-year-old. And at that moment, I was just like, you know what? They need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to get too involved. Because all it's going to do is upset me. Yeah. And I could be working on my own stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know? So I'll let them just, if they want to shoot something, they can ask me anytime. But until then, like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do.
Nice.
So tonight was like the first time they kind of just started working on new songs. And I think I got the boot. I think I'm out of the band. First band I've been kicked out of.
Well, let's talk about some Primus, dude. I know you're a huge Primus guy. Always have been.
Fan. Yeah.
Me personally, I've never seen Primus. I've seen
Wow.
almost everything else that he's done.
Yeah.
I got to see Duo de Twang when I was living in South Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
We drove down to Reno and I got to see Duo de Twang,
Cool.
which was pretty cool, dude, to see like totally different thing.
Yeah.
Colonel Claypool, Bernie Brains.
Yeah.
Colonel Claypool, Flying Frog Brigade.
Yeah.
Which they did like
Animals.
They did that one they closed with like a 15-minute version of Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yeah.
It was sick,
Jack
dude.
Irons version.
It was just like, what the?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've seen him play, but I've never seen Primus,
I'm
unfortunately.
really digging on the Claypool Lennon thing. I love those albums.
Okay.
Yeah, those are like, because I was a fan of the stuff that I heard Sean produce.
Okay.
So every time I would hear that he produced the song or whatever, I go check it out. Like he did an Estero track.
Okay.
And I loved it. So I've always been really into stuff. And when he's producing, he's writing.
Right.
So everything that I've kind of heard from him, I've always been a fan. Like he's always been I've been intrigued by the stuff he does. So when they did that together, I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And this is kind of crazy because I love Les Claypool, but I actually like the stuff that I think Sean Lennon's he's responsible for writing.
Okay.
Because I think they kind of do it like the Beatles do. Whoever writes the song sings the song.
Okay.
And you can definitely tell that the stuff that Claypool sings on, those bass lines sound a lot like the newer Primus stuff.
Okay.
And to where when it's, Sean's singing, it just sounds not like Primus.
So would that be kind of like Oysterhead too, maybe?
No, I don't think it's like Oysterhead. I think it's way cooler than Oysterhead.
No, I just mean as far as the writing. Like, do you think that...
I don't know if they do it that way.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I don't know if they do it that way. I never really got into Oysterhead.
You didn't?
I got the album.
Yeah.
And I like all the players. I love Fish.
Yeah.
Huge Police
Stuart
fan.
Copeland.
Even Stuart Copeland just by
Yeah.
himself. I like all the soundtrack stuff. Big fan of the Rumblefish soundtrack. You know? But yeah, I listened to it a couple times, just lost interest. There's Claypool stuff that I've lost interest in.
Okay.
Like Purple Onion stuff. Never really got into that.
Yeah.
I think Primus was their first 4 albums were so hard to beat, was so amazing that every time I would hear him do something else, and I dig the Fog Brigade and the what's the other, whatever it is.
The Bernie Bucket Brains?
Yeah. There's a lot of that cool stuff.
That stuff was out there.
I dug that stuff too in the Brown album. And, but it was just for me, it was Suck on This to Punch Bowl.
Yeah.
There's so much in there that to me was just so amazing.
Yeah.
That I felt you know what? He's just having fun and he kind of I don't know, he started writing differently.
Yeah.
He started his bass playing's, I don't know, he just started it was almost like Claypool became a storyteller in his own way.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't trying to write some really weird fretless 6-string thing like a Bob or whatever,
Yeah.
And he just didn't do that anymore, and he still kind of doesn't do it anymore. But I think the reason why I like that Claypool Lennon thing is because there's a fresh. He's not in control 100%.
Yeah.
And there's a fresh perspective on what,
What's that one? Delirium something?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Claypool Lennon Delirium.
I think I've only heard half of some of
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It might take a second.
Yeah.
But it's cool because they're a prog rock band. They're an acid prog rock, whatever.
Right.
Trippy band. And there's definitely elements of the psychedelic Beatles in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is they're both ultra prog fans.
Yeah.
So they're doing like King Crimson stuff and they play some Beatles stuff and whatever.
What do you think about them doing the Rush stuff now?
I'm going to see it.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to see it. I'm taking the kids.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome.
They're doing like the whole album, right?
Yeah. They're doing the whole album, and then I think they play their set first.
Okay.
So I think they play
double dose.
Yeah. And I saw them do the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
So when they did the Chocolate Factory, it was the same thing. They would play like I don't know, like a 13-song set or something like that. And then they would go away for an intermission, like 25 minutes, and then they'd come back
out.
They open the curtain up, and the whole thing is a Chocolate Factory, you know?
Sick.
So I think it's the same kind of thing, is that they're going to come out and do the same thing where they'll play like 13 songs or 10, 12 songs, whatever.
I know he got Neil's stamp.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like they love those guys love each other.
Right.
They took them out like Roll the Bones tour or something like that. Like back in like what, early 90s, like 91 or 92. Or no, I think that was like more like 95 or something like that. But yeah, those guys they love each other.
That's gonna be a cool show.
Yeah,
Very
I can't
cool.
wait. My kids are gonna see something really cool. I'm trying to get my kids to go to all these shows now because I'm afraid that by the time they get old enough to kind of go on their own, these acts might not be doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true.
Like the Pixies, I had them go to see the Pixies, and I was like, I don't know how long these guys are going to do this for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they could just be like,
A lot of the bands from 80s and 90s are getting up there.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, I know Primus could be around for a while, or Claypool could just be like, I'm just over it. You know? You just never know.
Yeah.
So I'm making sure that
Doesn't he do wine and stuff like that?
Yeah. He's
So
got the Claypool cellars.
Stay up here in Northern California and make my wine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he tours because he likes the money.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure he's trying to build up enough of a legacy so his kids don't have to worry or whatever. But I mean, I'm sure he's gotten accustomed to a certain kind of lifestyle to where he probably has to go out and tour to make sure that he's okay in the bills. I mean, he has the winery, and they got to make sure all that stuff works. I mean, I don't know if Claypool Cellars, they probably don't sell that much wine. They probably sell it there to all his fans.
A fun hobby for him.
Yeah.
How's he going to pay for his hobby?
Yeah. And I mean, he might be a guy that has houses in different locations and stuff. So
yeah,
a lot of those guys do.
Right.
You know, I think he's well off. I don't know if he's super rich, you know.
Yeah.
But I think he's well off. But he still probably has to tour.
I could see him being one of those, you know, not Aerosmith, but like Stones, or you know, play until he's like 70, 80, you know, just working with different artists, and he kind of has already put that footprint out where he can do whatever he wants. You know?
He can. He just won't. I just don't think he'll ever get to that stadium arena level. Yeah. He's like in theaters, you know. Right. I mean, they've done a couple amphitheaters, but not too often. You know, they're playing the Municipal Auditorium, I think. Okay. And last time I saw Primus, when they were doing the Magnificent Seventh, that stuff, that was at the Fox Theater. So they're not playing, you know, too big a place.
But that's kind of cool.
No, it's super cool.
You know?
As a fan, it's awesome. I mean, I love seeing them at that place. I love just them being in Riverside, period. That's cool. Yeah. I don't have to go to the Palladium anymore to go see
that. Was
them.
like I saw Alice in Chains down the street from the Fox Theater. Yeah. It looked like a church or something. It was right by the Mission Inn. Yeah. It was this little place. Yeah. And it was killer just to see them, you know, in like a smaller place. Like, I mean, big enough, but small, you know. Yeah. But yeah. Good stuff to see them. See the bands you like that are. Yeah, I saw Jane's Addiction there. We're going to see 311 there. We're going to see, you know, they're like venues that are smaller but big enough to get those acts in there. Sure, yeah. You know? Yeah. Some of those acts will do 15,000 seats somewhere else. I saw Alice in Chains and Deftones do the whatever sports arena or whatever it is, 15,000 seats in San Diego. And then probably the next tour later, they're at the Municipal Auditorium. Right. So, you know, it is cool that
Riverside has venues that nationals come through, and they're actually smaller venues that you can really go and enjoy.
Yeah.
It's cool. Super
We're like,
cool.
sweet for us. It's 45-minute drive.
Yeah, right? Dude, it's right there. We can Uber there if we have to. We can drink.
Yeah.
Go to a show we can drink at. That's great. Not have to have a designated driver. Waiting for those kids to get older.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Ty.
Yeah.
It's been
fun.
awesome. I appreciate you coming and just...
I love talking about myself, man.
Yeah,
so
I know.
that's
I've
cool.
heard you say that.
I'm totally
But
cool
you
with
got
that.
interesting stories, so people want to talk to you,
Yeah,
you know?
there are some cool stories in there, man. There's a lot of crazy rides in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Definitely, man. That was super cool.
And I don't know if you're interested. Maybe we can get you to pop in the other room. And
I can try.
yeah, that would be sick.
I mean, I can at least say something.
Yeah, let's do it.
Want me to play bass? I didn't come prepared.
I know, but I know you fiddle around.